Biden says Equal Rights Amendment is ratified. It's not. Kicking off expected legal battle as he pushes through final executive actions. This one's actually pretty amazing. He tweeted this. Today, I'm affirming what I have long believed and what 3/4 of the states have ratified. The 28th Amendment is the law of the land, guaranteeing all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex. You then get this beautiful community note that says, actually, the National Archivist, who is responsible for enrolling new amendments, has stated the ERA has not been lawfully ratified, citing a legal opinion drafted by the Biden Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel in 2022, confirming this position. And then we get good old Kirsten Gillibrand. President Biden just declared that the Equal Rights Amendment is now a valid part of the Constitution and should be considered the law of the land. This is an incredible moment for reproductive freedoms, an historic day for equality, blah, blah, blah. And then you get the rare double. You get the double community note because she gets community noted and then Biden is community noted because it is not ratified. But what I find truly fascinating with all this is that Biden just tried to decree an amendment to the Constitution and the media isn't screaming that he's a despot trying to take over the country.
Yeah, they're not calling him a fascist.
Yeah, they should.
I mean, first of all, he tweeted nothing. That was one of his staffers, and we've seen the makeup of his staffers, so it was probably definitely one of the ones wearing a dress with a package below.
I got to be honest. I actually think this might be like a low-level staffer who was just like, I'm doing it, and just tweeted it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, YOLO, right?
I might agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that like Kamala followed suit, Gillibrand followed suit. It's
one person.
Oh, the
It's
same
one
person for all of
running
them.
all their accounts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe, who knows?
The DNC hired the Kamala HQ staffers. So it's probably like, half kidding, but it's probably one person tweeting all this stuff, right?
Yes.
No, it is. I mean, I used to work in the government. Like, dude, government employees don't know how social media works whatsoever. It's like one person that does all the technology, does all the social media. They do everything. So, yeah.
And no matter how bad you are at it, you will find a new gig in the same business. It's amazing that the Kamala HQ people got, I think, promoted to do Democrat or another page with the Trump administration. But
It's going to be nice to have someone back in office who can use Twitter again, all by himself.
Well, I mean, here's the truth.
It's true.
Technically, he can, but he does tweet things like Kafifi. The issue is when Trump screws it up, it's funny and we enjoy it. Yeah. I guess it's like this. Like, Trump tweets Kafifi, and it said, despite the negative press Kafifi, obviously he was going to say coverage, and then he sausage-fingered the phone and accidentally sent it. And
Run-on sentences.
Yeah.
Really long run-on sentences.
That's good, too.
He doesn't use periods or commas.
But here's the thing, like when Trump tweets mean things, remember that Coke tweet where he was like, what did he say? He said it's like garbage, but I'm going to keep drinking it anyway or something like that. It was this really funny tweet. The thing about what Democrats do is they post insane lies that negatively impact our actual society, whereas Trump just posts memes and then like rants and has run-on sentences or Kafifi.
Yeah, it's funny.
Trump's an insane man on Twitter, and that's the way that, on the internet, and that's the way that we like him.
Yeah.
That's the way that everybody wants. That's why people pay attention to Trump. It makes money for all the Democrats so they can say, look at how terrible this guy is. Look at how he's going to end the world, and it's such a bad thing, and blah, blah, blah.
Keep CNN employed.
It's locker room talk, That's why we appreciate it.
That's right.
So let's read Biden's new 20th Amendment. It says, resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled 2/3 of each house, that the following articles proposed and amended, etc. Article 1, equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. 2, the Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. And 3, this amendment shall take effect 2 years after the date of ratification. So, can someone explain to me what the heck the first section even means? Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged. We already have the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does this thing even do?
Makes the left feel good. I mean, it's not substantive. The idea that there's some form of inequality out there that is systemic as BS, and the fact that, or the idea that it's legal to discriminate because of the 64 Civil Rights Act, like the idea that it's legal to discriminate, that's BS too. So it doesn't do anything actually.
We got a real-time fact check from Niboopsh. Trump tweeted, "I have never seen a thin person drinking Diet Coke." epic. 2 days later, he says, the Coca-Cola company isn't happy with me. That's okay. I'll still keep drinking that garbage.
They gave him the bottle the other day too.
Oh,
The
yeah, let me
CEO of
pull that
Coke
up.
like gave him the little bottle.
That's right. I heard that the Diet Coke Diet presidential Coke. Is that what you call it?
What's better though, Coke Zero or Diet Coke?
Neither. It's awful.
Coke Zero, man. Come on. Coke Zero is where it's at.
I don't drink that garbage.
I remember when I was on a job back in the day, and I got like a full-on argument with one of my colleagues about Diet Coke versus Coke Zero.
Oh, here you
Coke
go.
Zero superior.
A glass bottle of the inauguration of President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Trump loves Diet Coke, man.
Mexican Coke,
It's his
man.
thing. Apparently, he had a Diet Coke button when
And
he was
McDonald's.
and a McDonald's
And
button.
McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I heard he had a Diet Coke button.
Yeah, Diet Coke. Oh, I didn't know a Diet Coke button.
He had a
Okay,
button,
I didn't know
And
that.
someone would bring him a Diet Coke.
Oh, wow. I know he loves McDonald's too, but
I think it's funny that like we're looking at Joe Biden decree mandate to the Constitution, and like the complaints about Trump, like we did this debate earlier on the culture war,
Yeah.
was that he was threatening the media. He was saying he was going to use he was to take legal action against them.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you can file legal action. Like that's a thing you can do and challenge to a court to see if you are correct. And then Joe Biden is ruling by decree, and they're acting like Trump's the fascist.
yeah. I mean, look, what I think is this. I think every president likes to leave behind some kind of legacy, or I did this when I was in office, etc. I think with Biden, right, he's going to have a pretty much tarnished legacy. So on his way out, like, look, I did this. And yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. Like every president likes to have something that they're remembered by, some kind of act or some kind of order that they put in place while they were in office. And this is my legacy.
He's trying to avoid being remembered exactly like Jimmy Carter, and it's a little bit unnerving how many parallels there seems to be between him and Jimmy Carter.
That's a good
One
point.
term Democrat president, and then also with the hostage releaser, we hope to see the hostages be released. Those parallels are just really.
And Trump's basically like Reagan. Like the Make America Great Again was effectively his Reagan slogan.
And I think Jimmy Carter was also the first person or Joe Biden was the first sitting senator to endorse Jimmy Carter when he ran or something like that. And they go way back. But he's nervous to be remembered that way. And he's trying to get his goodies in, Myron, as you said, at the end. And this
keep
is
in
the best
mind-
he could muster. This isn't changing anything. This isn't really doing anything. This isn't a difference maker.
And he had a bunch of like unfavorable pardons on his way out. That's why presidents always pardon on the way out, because a lot of times it's wildly unpopular. So I think this was like, okay, I gave a bunch of unpopular pardons on people that probably shouldn't be pardoned. Let me go ahead and do this thing and say, woo, civil rights. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the benefit of making this kind of assertion though. Everyone knows, like everyone serious knows. And another thing is I don't see why CNN is covering it as if it's a real thing as well, you know. This is the idea that it's going to be challenged in the courts, it's not going to be a law at all. Like this is just factually not true. They're making stuff up and asserting, "Oh, we have this power." The federal government acts people act as if the executive branch has a whole lot more authorities than it does. And hopefully, even though people want to see Trump come in and do a bunch of stuff, hopefully when Trump's done, the actual office of the executive office is significantly smaller, because hopefully he's gotten rid of a lot of the bureaucracies, or at least shrunk them, move them out of DC so
think
that
that's
way
wishful
people quit.
thinking.
I mean, look, we were talking last night. If you move the bureaucracies, like when you move a business or whatever, there's about 20% attrition rate. So move the bureaucracies out of DC. It serves multiple purposes. First of all, it changes the culture, because they're not beholden. They're not trying to get into the same parties. They're not trying to to be hanging out with the cool people in DC. There's no that stuff ends if you put Department of Agriculture in Iowa, and you put the FBI, I don't know, in Denver or whatever. Just get them out of DC.
We went over this.
Yeah, to put the FBI up in Alaska. But the point is, get them out of DC, because DC went 94% for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
6% for Donald Trump. I mean, to say that it's a single political opinion in DC is not an overstatement by any stretch of the imagination. So get him out of there. And then hopefully that'll shrink the power of the executive branch, because the cabinet level bureaucracies will shrink, because people decide, I don't want to go to these weird places. I like living in DC. Maybe I can get a job as a lobbyist or whatever. And hopefully this will have an actual tangible positive effect on the size of the bureaucracy. Because that if Trump tries to fire anybody, there's going to be all kinds of issues with that too.
not to get into the political weeds a little bit too much here, but I think the presidents are able to dictate like this because Congress has kind of sent their duties away to the president by not fulfilling them themselves. So
Absolutely.
Congress is completely, the process is retarded. I mean that literally like slowed down, and with the Senate filibuster with over 60 votes, they're barely able to pass something right now. I think the majority, after at least Stefanik gets confirmed, is going to be something like 217 to 215. So with Congress unable to get anything done, the presidency feels more and more emboldened. Congress people do not want to take controversial stances and have to lose when they run again in 2 years, and they'd rather send that to the presidency and let him do all their dirty work.
I mean, I think we can blame blame George Bush and the Congress that we had during the aughts, because they abdicated a massive amount of power to the president by saying that they gave him the authority to wage war in Iraq, which in my opinion, there was nothing good that came from the Iraq war. But yeah, I agree. The fact that Congress no longer passes laws, everything's an omnibus. They do everything they can to shirk responsibility and have their constituents have some way to deny that they did something their constituents dislike.
But Myron, certainly this should be disconcerting, because with this new Equal Rights Amendment, should it be actually viewed as ratified, you're going to have twice as hard of a time to get rid of the 19th.
I know. That's why I'm pissed off. I'm like, we need to get rid of the 19th Amendment. This makes my job harder now.
I wonder how many people out there are like, which one's the 19th?
The one that lets women vote, for those that are wondering. We need to take that away. But
I'm all in favor of getting rid of the 17th.
That's
17th Amendment's a bad one.
Myron, you said you don't want women to vote.
Senate by popular vote.
Would you vote for a woman?
no.
No position.
I don't think
anything
women
that
should
can
hold
make her.
positions of power.
I don't think I will say I don't think getting rid of the 19th Amendment goes hard enough. I think that just getting rid of women's rights to vote, that's just the tip of the
That's just the
iceberg.
beginning.
Yeah, we need to get rid of like
The cap is
a lot of people's rights. to vote.
That's just,
Because
That's the Family
assumption.
Guy joke where Peter's like, we're going to start a new country where everyone can vote except for black people and women and Jewish people and the Irish, the Italians. You know what? No white people. No,
you know what?
No one votes.
you know what? Women and blacks can't vote. Yeah, there you go.
I would
no,
give
no
up-
blacks either.
Wait, what about
blacks.
non-Protestants?
No, if we had,
Depends.
and I'm not even a Protestant. If you actually had a government that truly protected the rights that are enshrined in the Bill of Rights, I would have no issue with being like, Phil, you can't vote. I don't care. Fine. If you had a limited government that actually was restricted by the Constitution, but the Bill of Rights and the powers laid out in the Constitution, I don't care, because it's not supposed to matter. It's supposed to be states that really matter to you. It's supposed to be where you live.
Given the way the
And-
past
and
election
there's-
went, I am happy with the current electorate. I don't think we need to get rid of women from the electorate. Or
I
think
agree. I
that's
don't think
good-
anybody needs to be
good
removed
setup.
from the electorate. I think we need to add prerequisites. Like we can start simply selective service. You have
That's
to.
my main basis for why, for the 19th,
Right.
repealing the 19th. Yeah.
So my view is that I don't care who you are, what your background is. That's silly. It's mostly tongue in cheek half the time.
Yeah.
Some people it's not so much, but usually tongue in cheek. The real issue is there has to be civic responsibility tied to voting in general.
Agreed.
And that alleviates a lot of the problems. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.